In this story, Malia's determination, self-worth, and perseverance led to her success, and how it teaches that inner strength can triumph over adversity, even when others doubt you. Malia, a child of a single mum. His biological dad left her at the age of 4 months, was trained by her mum and grandmother until her mum remarried. But her stepdad wrote her off. Determined to succeed, she was focused and dedicated to her studies until one day, Mr. Bruno, a white man she met online, came down from Europe to Kenya to see her. The African beauty that radiates from Malia made Mr. Bruno to propose to her, but her stepdad, who never wanted any good from Malia, vehemently refused, giving excuse that their tradition forbids first daughter marrying outside Bungoma. Malia, who didn't want this lifetime opportunity, slips her fingers, threatened she either marry Bruno or elope with him. Was this a wise decision? Find out as you watch this video to the end.
Malia was a stunningly beautiful girl of 21, living in Bungoma, Western Kenya. Her beauty was known far and wide, and it often caused tension among the local men, who quarreled over who should have her. Despite the attention she received, Malia was focused on more than just her looks. Her life had not been easy. When Malia was just 4 months old, her father left her mother and never returned. Her mother, with the help of Malia's grandmother, raised her with care and love. When Malia turned 8, her mother remarried, but her new stepfather was harsh. He treated Malia differently from his biological children, often trying to put her down and stopping her from pursuing her dreams.
But Malia was undeterred. Her mother, though remarried, never gave up on her daughter. She made sure Malia grew into a well-groomed African woman, skilled in cooking, doing house chores, and even milking cows to prepare traditional Kenyan meals. Malia knew she wanted to succeed, so she put her heart into her studies, even when her stepfather discouraged her. Through sheer determination, Malia finished college and high school with good grades and entered nursing school. She had a bright future ahead. One day, Malia met a white man on a dating site. They started chatting, exchanging calls, and making video calls. Her beauty, intelligence, and good nature quickly captivated him. Over time, he decided to visit Kenya to meet her in person. When the man landed in Nairobi, Malia traveled over 5 hours from Bungoma to the airport. As soon as he saw her, he was struck by her beauty, realizing she was even more stunning in real life than in the pictures and videos. They spent 5 days together in Nairobi, getting to know each other better. After those 5 days, the man made a decision. He wanted to ask for Malia's hand in marriage. Malia brought him to meet her family, and her mother's joy knew no bounds. Her stepfather, who had once written her off, was left speechless. The girl he had mistreated had now become the beacon of hope that changed their entire lives. After spending 5 days in Nairobi with Malia and meeting her family, Mr. Bruno, the white man Malia had met online, was certain about his decision. He proposed to Malia, kneeling before her parents and declaring his intention to marry their daughter. Malia's mother beamed with pride, tears of joy filling her eyes. But Malia's stepfather, a man deeply rooted in tradition, was unmoved. He scowled as Bruno spoke. "We cannot accept this," her stepfather backed after Bruno finished speaking. "Our culture forbids the first daughter from marrying outside of Bungoma, let alone a white man from a foreign land." The room fell silent. Malia's mother looked nervously at her husband, unsure of how to respond. But Malia, her spirit unbroken, stood firm. Her voice was steady as she addressed her stepfather. "Father, I love Bruno, and I will marry him," she declared, her eyes filled with determination. "I refuse to let our customs trap me. If I can't marry him here, then I will leave. I will elope with him." Her stepfather's face darkened, and the room filled with tension. "You dare defy me," he thundered. "You will bring shame to this family if you marry this man." Malia's heart pounded in her chest, but she would not back down. She had endured too much in her life to let this moment slip away. I would rather bring shame by following my heart than live a life of regret. I will marry Bruno, and nothing will stop me. The village buzzed with the news of Malia's defiance. The elders were divided, some standing with tradition, others whispering that times were changing. The matter soon reached the ears of the king of Bungoma, a wise and educated man who had traveled far beyond the borders of their village. He summoned Malia, her family, and Mr. Bruno to his palace for judgment. The day of the meeting arrived. The palace courtyard was filled with curious villagers, eager to hear the king's decision. Inside, Malia and Bruno stood side by side before the king, her stepfather and mother on the opposite side. The king, seated on his grand throne, observed the room in silence, his face calm and thoughtful. Malia, the king began, I have heard of your desire to marry this foreign man. And I understand that your family, particularly your father, is opposed to this union. You must know that our traditions are not easily cast aside. I understand, my king, Malia said respectfully. But I ask for your wisdom. I love Bruno, and he respects our culture. He has promised to build a home here in Bungoma, in Kenya, and to return with me often. He even plans to help bring development to our village. Bruno, standing beside Malia, stepped forward. Your Majesty, I am committed to Malia and to her heritage. I promise to honor her family, her culture, and this land. I plan to work with my government to help improve the infrastructure here in Bungoma, roads, schools, whatever is needed. I want to make Bungoma our second home. The king leaned forward, his eyes narrowing as he considered their words. And you, he said, turning to Malia's stepfather. Why do you oppose this marriage? Her stepfather stood tall. Your Majesty, it is our tradition. The first daughter must marry within our land. How can we allow her to marry a man from outside, a man who does not share our ways? This will bring shame to our family and our people. The king nodded thoughtfully, stroking his beard. After a long pause, he rose from his throne. Tradition is important, the king began, but so is progress. I have traveled to many lands and seen how other cultures adapt and grow. Malia is not just a daughter of Bungoma, she is a woman of the world, and her future should not be limited by our customs alone. Moreover, Bruno's willingness to contribute to our community shows that he respects our way of life. The king turned to his council of elders. We must not cling blindly to traditions that no longer serve our people. Let us instead create a path that honors our heritage while embracing the future. The elders murmured in agreement. The king raised his hand, silencing them. I declare that this union may proceed, but with respect for our customs. Bruno, you must take part in a ceremony to honor Malia's ancestors and seek their blessing. Only then will this marriage be complete. Bruno bowed deeply. I accept, Your Majesty. I will do whatever is required. Malia's stepfather looked defeated but said nothing. Malia, meanwhile, smiled at Bruno, relief washing over her. They had 1.
In a traditional Kenyan context, especially in a place like Bungoma, rituals for marriage, especially in cases where someone is marrying outside of the community, are often deeply rooted in ancestral veneration and ensuring the community's cultural practices are respected. For Malia and Bruno's marriage, the king could have requested a series of symbolic rituals that combine tradition and respect for the ancestors. Here's an idea of the types of rituals that could have been performed. 1. Ancestral blessing ceremony. 2. Traditional oath of loyalty. 3. Purification ritual. 4. Cattle exchange and bride price ceremony. 5. Marriage dance and feast. The necessary rituals, which combine both the spiritual and social aspects of Kenyan traditions, helping to ensure the ancestors' blessing, the community's acceptance, and a harmonious union between the couple were performed to honor Malia's ancestors, and Bruno participated in the customs with genuine respect. Initially he dressed in suit as the ceremony was ongoing, but as soon as the main rituals began he changed and was dressed in traditional Kenyan attire, learning the ways of the land that will soon be his second home. He left after the ceremony. 6 months after the king's ruling and the necessary rituals done, Bruno returned to Kenya with his family. He finished the bride price, a gesture of respect for Malia's family and culture. With Malia's international passport and visa ready, they traveled back to Europe, but their connection to Bungoma remained strong. Bruno kept his promise. He built a beautiful home in Kenya, just outside Bungoma, where he and Malia could visit regularly. He also worked with his government to discuss opportunities for bringing infrastructure to the village, starting with plans for improved roads and a new school. This story teaches that determination, self-worth, and perseverance can triumph over adversity. Malia's beauty may have drawn attention, but it was her inner strength and character that led to her success. It also reminds us that, no matter the obstacles, belief in oneself can lead to a brighter future, even when others doubt you. This story also teaches the importance of balancing tradition with progress. While cultural values are important, they should not be rigid to the point of limiting individual happiness and growth. Malia's courage to stand up for her love to defy unjust customs and Bruno's respect for her heritage allowed them to build a future together, one that honored both love and culture. Through wisdom and understanding, just as possessed by the king, even long-standing traditions can evolve to bring development and new opportunities for communities.
I'm glad you enjoyed the wonderful story about Malia's ordeal and how her self-reliance and resilience changed not just her life but her family and the entire community. So believe in yourself, fight for your love, in the end victory shall be yours. Please subscribe and hit the notification button. Thank you.